Hello, everybody. Welcome to our, I don't know which number Christmas cracker this is, but we are joined today with Mark Bridger Pescott and Annie Phoenix. Annie Phoenix is our special guest. Annie is, as we all know, best-selling author. She is also a certified canine behaviorist and trainer and a patron of the Association of Into Dogs. But what a lot of people may not know yet, we're going to make sure everybody knows, is that she's also chair of the Phenix Advocacy Centre. The Phenix Advocacy Centre, that's a bit of a tongue twister if I say it too many times, is just amazing. It's a support group for trainers and behaviorists. I'm not going to babble on too much about it in case I freeze in a funny position. So I am going to let Annie talk about it to you because I just think it's something that's very important this time of year when everybody is just feeling Christmas isn't for everybody. Sometimes we overdo things. Sometimes we are just so burnt out. We need somebody to turn to. And this is where you go. Annie is going to explain what it is, why it came about, and who it's for. And we will, when this is posted on the, I've frozen, haven't I?
You did, just momentarily, but you're okay. Keep going.
I can always tell by Mark's face if I've frozen because he's sitting there laughing. But we will, after this is posted, we'll put up all the links on how to join and more information, the website and everything else. So thank you for joining us. Looking festive, Annie, with your Christmas hat. We're all on Christmas, and I even got a treat today because apparently my cardboard cutout cats are freaking too many people out.
Yeah, the cat's a little strange. Well, good morning. 8:30 my time over here in Utah in the States, and I'm very happy to always see my friends Mark and Denise. We've known each other for quite a few years, and they both are in my book, which is...
Oh, I have it. Probably not go over the tree trying to get it, but I have it.
I interviewed 16 world-class experts, and Mark and Denise are in here, which I'm thrilled about. And this has been a bestseller in part because of Denise and I promoting it for 2 years. It's been a bestseller for 2 freaking years now, which is insane. But it is out.
Now, there was a bit of delay on it. Didn't China run out of paper or something at one stage?
A good year delay. I think you could still get it for Christmas if you hurry on Amazon. And I don't know about over there, but in the US, it's 20% off on Amazon. And hopefully it is in the UK, Amazon as well. So thank you guys for being in the book. That was my favorite part of this book was interviewing the experts. And that's kind of what led to the Phenix Advocacy Center in many ways. And it happens to have my last name only because I like the allegory or whatever, the phoenix rising from the ashes, even though I don't have an O in my name. If you're looking for it, it's PHENIX Advocacy Center. But basically because I started the advocacy group for positive reinforcement trainers in February of 2023, trainers and groomers and anyone who's in the dog industry who's not using force, fear, pain, or intimidation, including crossover trainers who are committed to using that. We are not for the aversive crowd. They can have their own groups. That's not what we're about. But I started the Phenix Advocacy Center, and it is named that only because I tried for like 4 months to come up with a name and initials too, because everybody tends to call things by their initials. Like we're the Phenix Advocacy Center, so it's called the PAC, which is kind of funny because people think dogs are a pack, but they're not. They're social animals, but that's a different story. So I started it because during the interview process, I wrote this in 2021, by the way, and all of the expert stuff is still valid and still cutting edge. They're still ahead of the curve, and that's why they're in this book. When I started talking to trainers, and it was a year after COVID, I did a lot of Zoom interviews and got to know people if I didn't know them personally. And more often than not, and Denise and I started doing interviews in 2022 when we thought the book was coming out that year, and it was out a year later. I found that most of the professionals wanted to spend time talking, like before and after unrecorded talk, because you have to protect from the F-bombs and all of that. And most of them talked about feeling isolated and feeling alone. And that is true today, and probably even more so because the aversive trainers are circling the waters, and a lot of them are franchised, and most of us are not franchised. We're sole proprietors, and it can feel very lonely. And then the industry itself it can be very, very aggressive. I think it's toxic in many ways. And on our side, the force-free side, like there's more fighting, or feels like, because I don't know what's happening on the aversive side. They're all blocked to hell and back because I don't want to see it on my page. But there's just so much division and fighting and over stupid stuff like the F and 4 quadrants, which I say in my book, I hope I never have to discuss again because it's not helpful to dogs. I mean, people can argue it all day long, but that doesn't help the dog owner. They don't care. They just want their problem fixed in a humane way, hopefully. So I just got really tired of it, and I wasn't the only one, because in our chats with me and Denise, I would say, if you're a trainer and you want to talk to somebody, just contact me, PM me. I'm happy to talk. And many did from all over the world. Like people would contact me and just say, you know, this is how I'm feeling, and the industry's got me down, and I'm thinking of quitting. Burnout is through the roof in our industry, and it always has been, because we're animal welfare workers and frontline workers. I don't know that we think of ourselves as that way, but we are. And so there's just so much pressure on the canine professional, and there was really nowhere to go. There are plenty of organizations, and one of my favorite is Into Dogs. And you guys are very, very good. And you guys actually, more than, I think, one of the only ones, and we kind of copied it at the Advocacy Center, you do provide mental health support for your practitioners in the form of counseling and paying for some counseling. I think it's the first session. Most don't do that, and most never talk about mental health. And you guys have a bereavement group, and it's phenomenal. And that's one reason I'm proud to be a patron and a behaviorist with Into Dogs, because your ethics pages is also through the roof, which I love. It's the longest thing I've ever.
It goes on and on and on. But the other thing as well is that you were looking through like the Not One More Vet thing, where vets, being a vet is a profession, whereas being a dog trainer is not listed. So there's no statistics for burnout or suicide with dog trainers or behaviorists. It's just not, it's not taken as seriously as a profession. And a lot of that is probably, a lot of that is down to regulation or lack of regulation and identity. But we do matter.
I did base our organization on Not One More Vet, and I did start it with 25 other professionals, including Denise. It wasn't me. I'm the front person, but it's not me by any stretch. I could not do all this alone that we've accomplished in a year. And Not One More Vet did help us with the structure, because they've been out there since 2015, and they are studied. In the US, are studied by the US government. And it was a veterinarian who started Not One More Vet after the very untimely death of Sophia Yen in 2015 that just devastated all of us in the training industry too, because she was also very much into training. The US government said to veterinarians, or whoever said it, but it's the government that said it, looked at death certificates. And this is nitty gritty, but we need to say this thing because it's true. And so when somebody dies, on your death certificate, it says your profession, and then it says manner of death. So it'll say veterinarian. Unfortunately, their suicide rate is very, very high. And that's why we're so glad to see Not One More Vet or in organizations like that helping them. But they know that that's a problem in their industry. We don't know, because we are not studied. If I were to die, I don't know because the census came by in 2000 and made me fill out the form in the US. I think I put author or writer or journalist. But even if I put dog trainer, that's not going to show up if something happens to me, because we're not, according to the government. And that is a lot. Like, think about the Not One More Vet. One thing they did during COVID is they provided relief veterinarians. So if your staff got sick or your veterinarians got sick, they could plug in another professional that didn't even live near you, because there's standards of care that they have and do no harm and all of that, and all the training that they have. Well, if one of us got really sick and we're working in behavior, we all do things so differently. Even if we're all on the humane side of things and we're not harming dogs, it would be really hard for me to step into somebody else's dog midway that they're working on, because we do things so differently. So that needs to change, and there are people working on that. But I think we can also change from the inside out and treat ourselves as professionals, call ourselves professionals instead of just dog trainers, because we do so much more than that. We're actually working with the entire family unit, and it can be very, very stressful. But the whole point of the Phenix Advocacy Center is that it's a peer-to-peer support group. And I did not know a year ago what that was. We started in February of 2023. I had to learn. And of all of our volunteers, I knew the least. The volunteers are amazing. Like one of our board members has a master's in social work. Another one has worked with drug addiction counseling for 25 years. Like, and they don't talk about it. This is what they do in their free time that very few of us have. So there were a whole lot of people in our volunteer group who had had years and years and years of service helping others. And our volunteers had to jump through hoops to stay in the group. They had to read a very huge manual on peer-to-peer support because if they didn't know what it was, like me, I had to read it. We had to take a course that the veterinarians recommended on suicide ideation. We need to be prepared to have that conversation. And if that came up in our group, we have a private Facebook group for our members. We're not there as therapists. We're not at all therapists. We're peer-to-peer, meaning we're in the same industry. We've seen some of the same trauma and experienced it ourselves. And the trauma of knowing dogs are being harmed by fellow trainers, I could consider a secondary trauma and a real trauma. We have a referral list, and we have on our website, phenixadvocacycenter.org, because we are an official nonprofit, a list of professionals. And like, I think in the States, it's now 888 number you can call. There's usually 3-digit numbers. I don't know what it is over there. If you guys have just a 3-digit number that you can call, or if that's just in the States.
It's 4-digit here.
4-digit.
I think so, yeah.
And we list international resources of professionals if somebody is in need. We're just kind of there to help you get there if you need that support. And we open the group, the Facebook group. It is private. We do vet everyone. There's almost 600 members international now. We're growing like 100 a week. It's been amazing. And we're kind of educating how to respond to someone in need or someone being vulnerable and sharing. Like this event, this person attacked that person on social. We don't name names, actually. We're not allowed to. That's one of our rules. If it's negative, you can talk about the experience. So-and-so went on a podcast happened that was 3 hours long without naming names. And I felt this hurt me because this is how we want it to go back to you, the poster, and what your emotions are. And then we're here to listen and to help people be seen and heard versus solving it, and kind of helping the person find the answer within themselves. Because I've come to see that the answer is in us. It's just that I call it being in the tornado and the vortex. When everything is churning up around you and emotions are high and life seems, really bad, it's really hard to help yourself. It's hard to make really solid decisions. And so I feel like we're there as a hand sticking into the vortex and saying, we will help you by seeing you, by hearing you, by saying, I understand. We've been there. All of us have been there. And it's been remarkable because we even did role playing in the volunteer group. We went on and shared some of our personal stories. Denise and I did that. And I did it with a couple of other people, not recorded, very private. And then we actually practice on how to empathetically respond versus, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Well, that happened to me. Here's what I did, which doesn't help really. It just
coconut oil helps everything.
What does?
Yeah. Coconut oil. Always coconut oil.
And 4 hours of yoga and you'll be fine.
Sorted.
Easy. And we've had so many professionals give presentations there just for our members for free. Dr. Laura Donaldson in the US is leading a tapping group once a month where it's a emotional freedom technique that I knew nothing about until this year. And I'm kind of a skeptic. And I think those of us who believe in science, particularly modern science versus 100-year-old science, sure, show me some proof about tapping. Show me some proof that grounding is a real thing. Laura brings the science. She's got an incredible series of courses on Thinkific, and she gives incredible discounts for her courses within our members group, and lots of people doing that. And those of us who are speakers at events, there's all these summits that are happening, and we're usually not paid. And you can promote your book or you can promote your ideology or whatever. And that's fine because you're reaching the dog owners, which is who we all care about at the end of the day, and because they're the ones in control of the dog's peace and happiness. But now I don't accept a speaking engagement unless the group donates to the Phenix Advocacy Center. And Laura Garrod's doing the same. Laura Donaldson, that's a mix. Diane Garrod. And I encourage anyone who, if you are in the group, you can do that as well. It's just say, yeah, I'll do your free thing, but you need to give 10% of the proceeds because then you're helping your colleagues. And I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing with the funding that we are getting. And another way to help is birthday. For your birthday, Debbie Sheridan, who's our newest board member, who's a U.S. trainer, for her birthday, held a fundraiser, and she is our second highest donator, because people donated because they love Debbie. So that's something, because we are a nonprofit, the money is all going towards helping other professionals. And we have huge programs that we need funding for. So, and we're also getting grants. We were just kind of late on the grant train because we didn't get our nonprofit till like September. And most nonprofits are the first quarter of the year deciding for the year. So those grants we did apply for, many of them said, please come back in January. So we're hopeful. And that's what the board members are doing, is we're very focused on fundraising at the moment, because you have to have the funds, while we're helping everyone in the group. Some of the things that we want to do with that money is continued education on mental health for our members, because where are we talking about mental health in the industry? And where do we say to trainers, you're effing fantastic people. You're the best people in the world that I have run into. Like, I feel a deep kinship with my clients who love dogs in the same manner that I do. And then you take it up a notch with professionals who've spent their life studying about the animal that we love the most. And, we burn ourselves to the ground far too often taking care of these animals, because the dogs mean so much to us. And then the people who love the dogs mean so much to us. So it's a very emotionally delicate and trying job, but we don't talk about it. Just like carry on. It's the British stiff upper lip kind of reaction in the industry. And we're not going to get better, and we're going to have high burnout rates if we don't talk about it. And if we don't help ourselves, one of our things that we learned from the vets is we want to create a life that you love while working with dogs versus a life you need to escape from. And that requires community. And I have finally learned at the right, I'm saying I'm 60 because I'm 58, and you just might as well jump right in and say you're 60 to get used to it, to acclimate. But I have finally learned that it's community that's healing. And that's what you guys are doing in Into Dogs, is creating that sense of community and support and backup, and I got your back. And we're all on the same page about ethics. Like, I know that if someone is into dogs, I can trust them. I can trust how they're going to treat dogs and treat me. It goes both ways. It's not going to be any of the nasty, mean girl fighting online anyway. So connection is what is going to heal us. And we need more connection more than ever because of COVID. And I do like Zoom, and I do like, because I've talked to more trainers in the last 2 years than I have in my entire life. But it's still not the same as in person. And that's another thing we're working towards, is in-person retreats for dog trainers to get to, or professionals, not just trainers, to get together and not talk about training. We want to have grief counselors. We want to have a psychologist or professional running the thing. And it's just connection and having fun, for God's sakes. Where's the fun in the industry? And where's the, that it's lacking. It's severe.
I don't think we spoke once about dog training when you were over here in August. We just ate and drank and had fun.
And it was community, and it was in an Irish pub. I had a book signing in an Irish pub. Can't get better than that. And I did get to go overseas August for our 25th anniversary, and I did not plan a damn thing other than people. I just wanted to see my favorite people, and got to, including Chili Farm in England with Sarah Fisher. And I will remember that for the rest of my life. Everything that happened versus going to the museums and the cathedrals, I can do that another time. The people at part of it was what was important, and we had the best time we've ever had on a trip. So we're about community. We're also about very much about mental health, and we are providing, when we have funds, the first 90 minutes free with, we have 3 experts who were in the dog industry, burnt out, learned some new tools, and they're experts on burnout. Because
Colleen Pilar, yeah, Pilar, she does a few talks as well. She's spoken a few times with me before, and she's just incredible about burnout.
Yeah, and because she burned out herself, and now she has the tools. So the Phenix Advocacy Center, when we have the funds, and that's one reason we fundraise all the time, we will provide the 90-minute free first. And I learned that from you guys. Definitely, I swiped for the best stuff from all the groups. And we want to give gift baskets internationally. That's also from Not One More Vet, from NAMBI. They do that. Like, when does something show up on your doorstep for free from training colleagues?
Oh, I just did a big delivery up to my vets today. Do you remember the big hamper I made up for the staff? So that went up today, and then there was a bit for the vet, and then there was a bit for the rest of the staff. So
You
yeah,
do it on
it's
friends
little
as well.
things.
We do it to veterinarians, but like, well, first of all, most of us don't have the money, and plus, you're going to have to pay taxes again in Ireland to pick it up. I know that because I
Don't
have some.
start on that. Yeah.
And we also have 25-year strategic plan that we want to fund, including youth, working with youth and having some pilot programs. We have to start locally, and that we can't just, we might roll out some stuff nationally, but we got it. The youth, I mean, I hate to say it, but the youth is our future. And I don't think as the industry, we've done a very good job at focusing on that. And also minority inclusion is really important to many of us. We are a very white industry, especially at the, being able to afford the schools, $15,000, first of all, and then all the money that for the CEUs. It's not a cheap profession. And then the average in the US, I did find that on the US Census Bureau, is $35,000 US dollars. You can't support a family on that. That's not a livable wage at this point. It may be for one person, barely. But to pay rent and a car and all the education, $35,000 is not a livable wage. And the burnout rate that from the US Census Bureau, the only place I found any information in the US is 2 years. All these people come into the industry that we don't know because they're not big names or they're not on social media. They're gone. They leave before we even get to know them. So we focus really hard on burnout and knowing the early signs of burnout. I don't know that a lot of professionals, it's kind of like a frog boiling in the pot. And I hate that analogy. You don't really know it until you're in it so deep that it's hard to pull yourself out of it. We've all been there.
You took time out yourself, and you came back bigger and stronger than ever. Now you did take what, 5 years, and it was worth it. I mean, look what you came back with. You came back, you got to meet new people, you have a new bestseller. It was worth it. You also have the Phenix Advocacy Center because you've been there. You've walked a mile in those shoes, and now you have something to give back. And I think that's just so important. That's why I just felt it was so important to get you on in the run up to Christmas, because this is the time of year that people are going to be feeling a lot if they're missing family, if they're missing friends, if they're just missing an old life, what they used to have. Now they know they have somewhere to go.
Yeah. There can be so much grief around the holidays. Even if you had a great family and a great time, which I did not. I grew up in a highly toxic, dysfunctional family, which is why the dog training industry felt so at home in a dysfunctional way for me. And many of us do that. I think we get on that hamster wheel. It's like you grew up with an alcoholic dad and you're female and your first husband is an alcoholic and you didn't know because he wasn't showing all that when anyway. And we talk about that a lot in the group, the toxic nature and how to get off that hamster and being aware. Like one thing I learned from Colleen Pilar, I've done 100 Zooms in the last year because Zoom told me how many, and I've learned something every single time. And Colleen and I she's the burnout expert in the US, first Wednesday chats for an hour. And we just share our personal experiences and anybody in the group can chime in. It's only in the group. Many of our chats are only in the group. So you have to be a member to get them. She talked about the superpower that we have. And she's the first one I heard say that superpower of understanding animals and reading animals like that. And she says it's almost always born out of trauma. Because we're hyper vigilant as children because you had to be. And so then we're seeing things and we're hyper vigilant. So we're like, what is that person going to do? Because I'm a vulnerable child, I have to be ready. So then your nervous system is dysregulated for the next 40 years. But it makes you like, I know what he's going to do before he does it. And I have to change my behavior to make dad better. So dad's not mad or mom's not crying or whatever the situation is. And that's too much to put on children. It's toxic. It messes up your nervous system. And then we find dogs. And that's what happened to me in my own life, is that my dog Cricket was the only person, like my family didn't say they loved each other. And I talk about this all the time. Like, you don't say you love each other? I mean, what? Are you aliens? Well, that's just, we didn't have birthday parties. Like, why did you even have children? I don't know, but I'm glad because I'm here. I'm just cold and neglectful. And neglect is a very serious form of abuse. So I fell in love with my dog Cricket, and he went everywhere with me. He followed my school bus. So then we become very protective of the dog. We just have to balance what we need from our own lives while we're protecting these dogs. And back to Christmas and holidays, we talk a lot about it's okay to be sad. You don't have to feel up and peppy if you don't want to. My dad for years called me Scrooge Butt. He was a bit of a jerk, even though we reconciled towards the end of his life. And he had mean nicknames. And I'm like, why am I Scrooge Butt, George? I'd call him George if I was mad at him, because he ruined Christmas. Narcissists ruin Christmas. So in the Phenix Advocacy Center, we're like, it's okay to be sad. And you can mourn the life you never had either. I think that's a big one. Like you look around, and if you're just looking in on the outside, everyone seems so happy, and there's no fighting, there's no one drinking, there's no one or getting drunk and ruining Christmas. But that's not true. There even if you have the most wonderful, loving family, there's still grief and there's still loss. So there's kind of a nostalgia and sadness in a lot of us at Christmas time. And I think it's important to acknowledge it, not hide from it, and to be gentle with yourself and say it's okay. It's perfectly okay and normal to say this season kind of makes me uncomfortable. And it has for my entire life. I never celebrated. I love presents. Give me presents any time of day of the week, but it's not,
I sent you a donkey.
A real donkey.
But no, I get what you're saying, because I struggle with, I loved Christmas, past tense. Always loved Christmas. Always spent it with my family. Well, with my parents. Sadly, I don't have them anymore. So the last few years have been very, very tough for me. But the one thing I have found is that, like Mike worked nights in residential care, so I'm on my own with the dogs. But I've learned to really love that time to myself with the dogs and the remote control. I've got full control of the TV. But it took me a couple of years to kind of find that nice balance where I'm getting excited about Christmas again. And back then, I didn't know who to talk to. I know you were there, Annie, because you've been with me for years. You've been with me through pretty much everything. But yeah, I just think about how I feel coming up to Christmas versus how you feel coming up to Christmas, because you had a completely different dynamic with your family than what I had with my. So, I mean, there's so much context there. Everybody is so individual. We're so quick to tell people, train the dog in front of you. They're all individuals. And yet we don't give each other the same respect. So that's what I love about the fact that this advocacy center is set up, the group is set up, that I know on Christmas Day, if I suddenly see something that triggers me, or I suddenly go, oh my God, I wanted to ring my parents and they're not there, I can just go on to the group and say, hey guys, is anybody around? Because, I'm kind of feeling it a bit right now. And that's what it's there for. And it's something that's been seriously lacking for years. So I'm just really happy that you set it up.
Yeah.
And if somebody has a positive, something great happening Christmas Day, post that too, because we're all going to celebrate with you. That's the whole thing. It's support.
Yeah, I shared with Colleen on our last chat that I am now tiptoeing my way into enjoying Christmas, but it's taken me 40 years. I mean, that's how long and it doesn't matter how long it takes you. And like we went to a Christmas tree lighting, which it's easy to just say, if you're protecting yourself, that's stupid. That's just so dumb. Everyone getting together and singing Christmas songs, bah humbug. And I went thinking, I'm just going to go and whatever, Christmas. And we had a great time. I have a picture of us just beaming like idiots because it was collective and we all knew the songs because we grew, I grew up with some Christmas songs. And what I want to say is, and I want to bring it around to Mark and his little Christmas present that he got that was supposedly a foster, because that's one way to bring joy into your life, is to bring a new puppy in. And I enjoy watching that. And I want to talk about that. But when I'm working with a troubled dog, one of my goals is to see joy and happiness and relaxation of the body. And that's when I know I'm because the dog is just like, what's happening, hypervigilant. And if I can reduce the hypervigilant, and dogs are so much faster about it than we are. So I'm looking for the joy. So why aren't we looking for joy in our own lives? And why aren't we talking about it? Why don't we say, like, I make us do something, me and my husband, fun on the weekend, and it's kind of a joke. I'm like, I look at Jeff and I go, what are we doing for fun? Like we are doing something, and usually something that a kid would like, just sledding, just something just childish or childlike.
So important.
Yeah.
It really is, because nobody wants to grow. We don't have to grow up. We're Gen X.
Exactly. I'm barely Gen X. I'm the
We
first.
grew up by the age of 12. We're due a renewal on our childhood.
So let's talk about Mark and Abe. I love him. The first thing I saw him on your thing, you said foster, and I'm like, that's not a
Well,
liar.
we know he wasn't going to be a foster the day we picked him up. It's never going to be a foster. I think the last 3 we've had have all been fosters.
Yeah.
But he's great. He's a cracking little fella. And he's very intelligent. What I like about what he's done so far is that he's cheered Bear up.
Yeah.
Bear's still been grieving the loss of Ava in August, and for the first time this week, little Abe's only been here a week yesterday, and Bear's already started to play with him.
Is it only a week?
Yeah, there's a week last Saturday.
Wow.
So it's not
Feels
been
like
long.
forever, but yeah, I get that.
It's not been long at all. So there's a few things
Amazing.
that have happened in that short period of time where he has kind of convinced Bear that he's here to stay, so you might as well play with me because I'm going to be here for a long time. And Bear has started to do stuff. Now, one of the things that comes out of Bear at the moment, he's developed this rather wonderful lion-esque growl, which is brilliant. And he's only ever done it to Abe. I've never heard it before, but it's a wonderful, real deep-throated, you can feel it. And it's just his way of saying to Abe, all right, don't push your luck, son. You'll get in there, but I don't mind a little play. But the other thing as well is that that's been nice is that he started to Abe has started to not sit with us as much on the settee. He's already felt comfortable enough to go and sit somewhere else, and that's all in one little week. So he's doing great. Don't get me wrong, he's an absolute arse, but he's a great little fella. He'll steal the socks, he'll steal a pine cone, he'll pick up a leaf. He's all those things that you don't want him to do, he does.
But he's so cute because he's still all ears, all legs, and that big long tail. Oh, there's nothing I'd love nothing more than the German Shepherd tail. It's just this long tail that keeps growing. There he is.
He already looks so bigger. He grows so fast.
They grow too fast.
Look at those legs.
He's all puffed. Yeah, he's going to be a big boy. The nice thing we kind of worked out is that he's roughly about 4.5 months old, and we lost Ava about 4.5 months ago.
Oh.
So we've decided that her last on Earth is going to be his first on Earth. So that's now going to be his birthday, as far as we're concerned. Because we know nothing about him, nothing at all. He wasn't even microchipped, so he just appeared, and he's very skinny. He's got a bit of a dodgy tummy, so he's been on white fish and butternut squash for about a week.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's great, and this is the thing. I think
I'll be on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do get into working with dogs because I think at that point they finally find the love they never had before. Because you get that from a dog, and it's unconditional. It's not, well, I'll do that if you do this. And it's very, very simplistic. You can look at the dog and they look at your back and you go, yeah, I feel that's good. I know almost exactly what you're thinking. I mean, little Abe here, bless him, he is so young. He's obviously not been out that much. And since the last week, he's been everywhere. He's been to he went to my social walk. There was, what do I know, about 60 dogs on it. There was a huge amount of dogs come onto it. Now, whenever he feels a bit overwhelmed about something, he'll walk in between my legs. He just plants himself there and we just walk along because now he's got this little teepee of trust above him, which is quite nice. And then occasionally
he grows.
Yeah. Naomi's buggered because he's really got short legs. What's nice is that sometimes you have to then just stop. And if I crouch down at that point, he jumps up, puts both paws around my neck, and we have a nice big cuddle. And that will happen for probably about a minute. and then he
Aw.
feels brave enough to carry on for the walk again. But it's been so sweet to see that, and it's quite nice. You know, at that point that this little thing is trusting you and giving you that love that is completely, without doubt, unconditional.
Yeah, and it's healing. And puppies are a lot of work. People need to know. Everyone in this group knows how much work they are. But that joy and the silliness of a puppy, I think there's so much every day that we can learn from dogs.
Yeah.
And being silly and being a puppy, and they kind of can be puppies their whole life.
Yeah.
Like Neville, to me, his face, Denise's dog, looks very puppyish.
Yeah.
And we need to do that. We need to look for ways in our life to have joy and allow it. Like it's
I'm
okay.
disappointed if Neville comes home clean. If I take Neville out for a walk and he comes home clean, I'm disappointed. Did you not have fun? Because he's a muck magnet.
Yeah, I can't tell you the amount of times I've been asked over the years about, would you have another puppy? I go, no. It's so much hard work, so much hard work. And then he turns up, of course. But then there's also those times where you're talking to people that have puppies, and like you're saying, they can be incredibly hard work. You've got to have eyes of every part of your body and super sensitive hearing and all the rest of it to work out what's going on. But then they'll ask, they'll say, well, I'm really upset because he's done X, Y, and Z. And there's one simple solution that I've always done to that. And I've always said to people, why don't you write a little list of the things that make you smile about him, and all the list of the little things that make you a bit upset about him. And that smile list is always 10 times bigger than the upset list. You're going to get that.
It's like when people go for a walk, you've given them a list of things in your training plan as to what to do. And that 5 seconds where the dog reacted to something is what ruins a 20-minute walk. Instead of focusing on that fabulous 20 minutes, look for the positives on everything. And I think that's what Christmas is about as well. Look for the joy. I love having pups at Christmas. I must be out of my head. I love having pups at Christmas. It's just seeing things through their eyes. The first Christmas tree, the sparkly lights, the shiny things, the wrapping paper, and giving them their presents on Christmas morning, and just the joy. It's incredible. It's just, that's what I love about Christmas. It's not about me, it's about the dogs. So
I fostered two traumatized little puppies. They were cute, tiny little. One was 6 pounds, and one was 11 pounds. 11 weeks old, somehow covered in filth, and they had been at a foster, I think, outside in a kennel, because they were also heading straight towards separation anxiety. And the little guy, it was so hard to not keep them. He came out of a shell within 6 days, through all the stuff I've learned, even since I've written the book, but using everything I've learned from the experts in that book, I was able to help them. But the day that, he was a freezer, a perfect freezer. Like, you'd reach your hand down and he would just freeze. And I wish to God I'd gotten it on tape, because it was like classic. It's sad. If you understand what a freeze is, that kind of freeze, it's a traumatic response. But he would just like, I'm invisible, you're not touching me. He did not want to be picked up, and he was so tiny, and he was butterscotch colored, like golden retriever. Everyone wanted to pick him up. I'm like, don't pick it. And we did outside, off leash, because we have a safe fenced yard. He started coming up to me, and I started petting him under his chin and using some of the somatic body work, like, petting him here on the side of his head, and he would just sit, he'd give me his head, like, please do that again. That felt really good. Anyway, the day that I finally figured out, they were also starving, so I fed them 4 times a day. I finally figured out, I don't know why it took me like 4 days, to throw their kibble in the hallway and also put it in a snuffle mat. And when he saw that snuffle mat and he started bouncing up and down, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And he was a cute, and I didn't get that on camera either, because I almost started crying, because it's like, from starving to shut down to freezing to, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, there's food on the floor and I get to find it.
Well, you know why you didn't get that on camera? Because you were busy helping that dog.
Yeah.
You were doing your job, and that's what, I prefer.
Oh, frozen.
For listening to you tell me has.
Oh, and again.
Now I know you put the work in. It's not, you didn't.
Oh dear. You've gone, Denise.
This is a long freeze.
It is long. Are you back?
It's a very long freeze.
It was a
I'm
very long-
frozen.
Yeah.
You're back.
Oh,
Well, it is
I'm
Christmas.
in. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, no, what a lot of people just see on social media is what the other person wants you to see. They don't see the other side of the rotten apple, so to speak. So I love that you were able to experience it and put.
Oh, you're gone again.
Another thing that I did, talking about puppies, a lot of work. They were here only for 6 days because it was winter break and no one was around. They were so cute. They wouldn't even have been in foster care. They would have been snapped up. But I knew I had 6 days because there was a group adoption thing in a park, which I don't like because you can't do home checks and all that. But I knew 6 days, 6 days, 6 days. Separation anxiety. They weren't house trained. Had them house trained within 24 hours. And just every day they just started coming into their own through everything I've learned, even since I had my own puppies 4 years ago. But I calculated the hours, and this is what new parents need to be told. They were here 144 hours for two dogs for a week, using my rudimentary math. They were alone 3 hours because one of my dear friends from college was in town. So we went to dinner with them twice and cut it short. And then she came over here for half a day. That's how much time while working on separation anxiety. So people are like, oh my God, you're creating separation anxiety by being with them. No, they all these puppies, and that's how I saw them at the shelter, that if you turned your back to them, if they were behind a crate or kennel, scream, like panic screaming. And it's another thing I wish I had gotten on video, but I couldn't because I was so busy helping them. So I was working on relaxing their bodies and helping them re-regulate their nervous system, which worked. And then I would put them in the bedroom in the crate at nap time when they were really, really tired. And I would walk in, this is the bedroom, and there's a closet and a bathroom. And I would walk into the bathroom while they were in the crate. I'm just in the bathroom. You can still hear me talking to them. I'm right here. And it would start, and then up, and then they could go to sleep with me moving around the room or even going down the hall in 6 days' time. It was just amazing. But I was exhausted. My husband was exhausted, and my healers were exhausted. And they love other dogs and they love puppies. And I don't think it's the puppy energy. It was the frantic screaming. So I learned to not pick them up. They didn't want to be picked up to be put in the crate. And sometimes you just have, I'm going to dinner, get in the crate. There's a long hallway. And I also slept on the couch next to the front door. And they got up, they could only sleep about 6 hours. We had 2 accidents in 24 hours. But that was a week of my life I gave to those dogs. And if they had stayed with me, it would have been a month. Easy.
But you by doing that, you set them up for life. You gave them the start they needed. I mean, I think about my pups that I take on for a year or 2 years, and I dedicate everything to them just to set them up for success for whatever they go on to do. I know I said earlier, I love having puppies at Christmas, and I'm sure a lot of people are going, you obviously don't cook Christmas dinner for. No, I don't cook Christmas dinner. I have never cooked a turkey in my life or ham, or I have prepared Christmas dinners, but no, because there's only 2 of us and the dogs are more fun. It's Christmas.
You cook gourmet meals for them. I've seen that for the dogs.
Yeah. And you see how quick I can knock out a meal. In real time. Annie was there. I can fill a table with food in seconds. It's all good. So.
Well, I invite anyone who's a member of Into Dogs or listening to this. If you're a canine professional, you can be retired, force-free. Look at for us. We can put a link in the chat.
Yeah,
Phoenix Advocacy Center membership group, and get involved. You can also look at phoenixadvocacycenter.org, particularly if you need a resource. If you're really going through a hard time, and we all go through hard times, every single one of us, and it can be elevated during the holidays. Take a look at our resource section, because that's where the professionals are, because we are not professionals, we're peer-to-peer support. And find your tribe, because they're out there. And when I was writing the book I'm
going to ask you really quick. Yeah. Okay.
Well, when I was writing the book, Denise said, we need to find people for the experts who have their head down and they're doing their work. They're not fighting online, but you got to seek those people out, because they're not online, because they're not creating wars online. So there's plenty.
And they're not filming what their puppy is doing.
Yeah. There's thousands of really, really quality good dog professionals out there. And that's one thing we want to put them together. There's 600 of us now, so come join us.
It's also good as
One
well,
other
I think,
thing.
that if some people aren't, they're not talkers, they don't like to open up, but just being on your center, you can read what other people are going through. And it does then hit home a few times. And you can then obviously get some relief from that, which might encourage people to open up a little bit more in the future too.
Exactly. That happens a lot.
And I think we all need to have a film crew that follows us around, because all of us have missed so many classic moments that we think, oh, that would be great to show people. But of course, because we're in there doing it, you know, oh, I missed it. Oh, I missed it. we need to employ film crews just to follow us day in, day out, 24/7.
Also with puppies.
Well, the one thing I do want to ask you about quickly, because in case I go frozen again in some delightful pose, I'm sure Marcus screenshot all of them and I'll get them for Christmas.
I keep missing it because I'm in it.
Excellent. I was going to say, you do know you can crop them out, but I don't want to be giving you ideas. The youth program, the 5-year plan, you have this one really, really is the one I'm interested in, the youth outreach. So can you say a few words about that? I know no youth wants to hear about this side of Christmas, but they are our future.
Yeah, and we want to have kind of a program that we can create that's not difficult, includes flyers and handouts, and kind of have a subgroup, because there's so many human trainers in our group. Many are teachers still and training dogs after school, and teaching young kids like elementary. I want to start with elementary and move up to junior high and high school for the truly brave among us.
Oh, I used to teach teenagers.
Yeah.
I was that rebel.
Yeah. So many of, I mean, we're teachers. We are teachers. And so we're still working on the program. That's what we're applying for grants for, because that's not going to be cheap. That we can have an educational program that you become like a PAC, Phenix Advocacy Center instructor for little people. No, I can't say little, for little humans, young humans. And that we kind of give you guidelines, so you're not just on your own, and we're all kind of saying the same thing. That's important. And talking about positive reinforcement and demonstrating. Maybe you bring a demo dog, maybe you don't, because it's not always appropriate to bring a dog into a school system. Depends on the dog. And start working in an organized way, so that we and maybe even have a reward system for the instructors. Like if you talk to 5 schools this year, you get a XYZ, you get a new car. It's going to be a 2000 junk car, but hey, whatever it is, won't be a car. I promise you, it won't be a car.
A Matchbox toy. No, I mean, it's so important for kids as well to understand not only what you want to promote, but you know, you're against bullying, you're against this, you're against that. So it's really important that they also learn. I froze again. I'm going to shut up now. I'm just going to say it's really important for children of all ages to know how to cope, especially with the pressures of online and social media, bullying, cyberbullying, and just getting on with life. So
everyone's far too brave behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, don't we know? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's horrible. And you know, I've had a couple of bullies here and there online, and they don't bother me, so they go away quickly, and that's absolutely fine.
So back in my day, if you wanted to say something, you had to weigh up the odds. Like, did you really want to walk 5 miles to the house to punch them in the face?
Yeah, well, that's just it, isn't it? And the thing is, it's too easy now. And there's a thing over here at the moment. You can post things on any page you like anonymously. So of course that's now brought out everybody left, right, and centre that complains about everything going on. And if someone's asking for help, they're having a go at them for asking for help. You go, come on, people, this is ridiculous. You wouldn't do that if you're in the same room as this person.
Admins can see who the anonymous person is. Just a heads up for anybody planning on being an anonymous troll. If you're an admin on a group, you know who that person is.
Oh, okay. Well, that's handy to know.
Block. Give yourself the gift of block for Christmas. Block, block, block.
I do like that. I do like that a lot. Yeah, I've blocked a few on my page. Yeah. Normally it's
That needs an
spammers.
advert.
Yeah. Buy my t-shirt with my logo on.
Block. I'm the queen of block for a reason. I just don't want your garbage in my life. So goodbye.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. At the end of the day, with certainly with your centre, it's a great place to go where there is no judgment. There's no bullying. There's no harassment. There's just support, which is a nice thing to have. Life is far too short to be annoyed with everything. So get that out of your life. It doesn't matter who they are. If they're not helping you live a happy life, get shot. You've got one shot at this. Be happy with it. So get a dog.
And maybe even
exactly
family members. Like, I do not speak to anyone in my family. I only talk to my dad, and he passed away 2 years ago. And I don't care. I am relieved that I don't have to play the games that they play and pretending to be someone you're not because they have social norms of how you're supposed to look and act. Like, I'm every year that I'm away from them, and it's been 25 years, I'm happier and lighter. And they used to be, oh my God, honor your mother and father. No, we've moved beyond that. If they are not good to you, you do not have to have them in your life, period, including relatives. And come join us. We're your family.
You can still love them, but you don't have to talk to them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think social media has played a lot into that. I mean, we're all older than Google. That's pretty scary. Google was what, 1998? Yeah. Before that, we had like encyclopedias. I had the Disney one and the Britannica one. They were brilliant. We had libraries and National Geographic animal cards. But now everything's at your fingertips. Even on your mobile, you can Google anything in a second. And it breaks down the barriers of actually getting out and interacting or asking people and learning. I think it has actually cut down our ability to learn properly.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I mean, if you go to the library and you spend hours looking through a book and reading it, writing it out, because you're not allowed to take that book out, you're going to remember it more than just Google it. But you see there's an awful lot of social pressure, especially coming up to this time of year where people are posting, look at this family, look at our Christmas tree. And a lot of them are stock images. I mean, look at my Christmas tree. I just stuck these 2 sets of battery lights on it before I came on, and you can't even see one of them.
I've even got a tree.
Let's keep it real. Yeah, there you go. Mark didn't even bother with the tree. So
this is it. This is Christmas decoration. That's it. And I'm trying to get this whiter.
Yeah, I know. There we go.
This takes ages to dye.
Bit of glitter on the beard, you'd be grand.
Well, that's just it. You do what makes you happy. You do whatever you want to do, but you don't have to. There's no need to go and make somebody else's life miserable because you don't agree with them.
Colleen Pilar has so many good questions. I feel like I'm getting free therapy when we do our chats. And one of her questions is, she asks her people she works with, what do you want now? And you have to be able to say that you're worthy of whatever it is. And even you have to begin there. What do I want in my life now? And for some of us, that may be stepping away from the industry, at least for a time, if you can. I know it's hard if you're the sole proprietor and that you spent 30 years learning about it. I mean, honestly, I could step away because I had a husband who made a nice living as a tech guy. That really is the reason I could afford to do it. Step away and not do much of any, like heal. I had the time to step away and not work full time. I would have gotten another job in another industry like Costco. You're headed towards burnout when you're like, I think I would love to work at Costco or FedEx. I'm like, you don't have to talk to anybody. Like those people.
You want a weekly paid job.
a paid salary where you could count on and help it. So I think understanding and acknowledging that we are all human and we have ups and downs, we have good days, we have bad days, and that we need each other. Like social media is really good at pitting us against each other. I mean, it also brings us together because we're on Zoom and this is going to be posted on social media. But you have to pick and choose and limit your time. I've had so many clients lately who are not on social media, and I'm like, what? That's a thing? Like, not on Facebook. I mean, we wouldn't know each other if we weren't on Facebook. So there are wonderful things about it. But you also have to Like my husband used to say about groups that were not moderated, because there used to be a free for all, almost any group, like just nasty and trolls. Some are now that are moderated. He said it's like a garden and there's weeds, and you got to cut the weeds back, or the weeds will take over. And I think that's one reason our Facebook group of the Advocacy Center is so successful, because we actually have 9 moderators, but they don't have to do much because we're very clear about the rules and people are there for the right reasons. They're not lying to get on and say, it's all how you use the tool. We're not playing those games. This is serious life stuff that we're talking about in there. And that's been remarkable to me, is to see the comments, because again, our moderators and our volunteers have had training in how to do empathetic listening and how to not fix it, and how to make the person, help the person feel seen and heard. It's very specific training. Me in particular, I've had a hell of a lot of it because I needed it. But the people that are responding are, or just average trainers who may not have had that training, but they have the language. They have that ability to help their colleague feel seen and heard in a way that just blows me away. Like, I think I've had to ask 3 people since April privately, could you please rephrase that or consider rephrasing it? And both 2 of them were, they used always and never. I never. Like there's not an always and a never in real life, hardly ever. So just kind of, those words can feel judgy to people. Could you just maybe take those out? Fine, they were happy to do it. It's been remarkable, that part. Like, that's why I love the dog training community, because all of us could see and feel individually, because we've all known each other for a long time, the goodness that is out there. And it's bigger than us. There's more, and Andrew Hale says that a lot. There's more kind people in the industry than unkind. It's the unkind ones that take over social media.
That's very true. And there was one thing Andrew said to me a couple of years back when I kind of lost my love of Christmas. And he said, start a new tradition. And I thought, what'll I do? What'll I start? I didn't start one because I'm a bit of a slow learner, clearly, but I did listen to him, and it just made me think, yeah, I'm grieving the Christmas I used to have, because I obviously lost my parents, and that they were my Christmas. But there's nothing stopping me starting a new tradition, starting something new. So yeah, I mean, there's little things. Although I didn't figure what it was I wanted to do, I'm still figuring out. But I figured it out this year. Yeah. I want to enjoy Christmas.
It's that thing, isn't it? Where as a kid you couldn't go out and buy a whole cake and eat it yourself. You can now, but you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So... or if you like get a bank loan, you can buy an actual Christmas tree over here.
And one of the other secrets is, if you're down at Christmas or Thanksgiving, honestly, and it took me forever to figure this out, is to help other people.
Yeah.
Even if they can't receive it and say thank you, maybe it's not your family if they're toxic, or don't help the toxic people. Go help a total stranger. Go talk to the cashier at the grocery store. Give your post person a little present.
Or I always give my delivery guy. We have loads of different delivery companies over here, but one in particular has always gone above and beyond. They always, when they see me in the street, they beep, they wave. They're just amazing, and we've had so many of them from this particular. And it's DHL. I'm going to say it because they're absolutely amazing, and I always make sure they get a gift because they're flat out this Christmas.
There are other couriers available, of course.
There's loads of different couriers available. I was nearly going to say DFS. Jesus, have I even got the bloody name right? All these acronyms are killing me. But no, seriously, I mean, it doesn't take much, even a card.
Yeah.
Anything.
Even a little card.
Sometimes just a smile and a hello and a thank you.
DPD, I am mortified. DPD I've been using for years. They are just above and beyond. We absolutely love DPD. So we always make sure to give our guys a card, a Dogs for Disabled calendar, box of sweets, anything. Something small as appreciation, because they are working their backsides off this time of year, especially
anyone
in my house.
Yeah, that's what I that's what I'd like to leave people with, is that if you're feeling down, or even if you're really happy and everything's going great in your life, I'm very happy if that's the case for you.
Share
But
the joy.
other people out there are not having a good time, and it really can just be, you know, a sincere compliment. Hey, I like that jacket. You know, where'd you get it? Your glasses look really good. You know, can you tell me where? Whatever. Just be the person who is extending the kindness, even if you're the one who needs it, because that comes back to you. That's the one thing I've learned in all of this work I've been doing, is that I never imagined that I would be more excited about the Phenix Advocacy Center, because it was healing for me. I didn't start it to heal me. I started it to help others heal. But what I have learned about myself has been amazing. Like, I would jumping out of bed at 5 a.m. to get shit done on the bureaucratic end of a nonprofit. I didn't do that as a dog trainer because I was too burnt out. And I've come back to local consults, which I refuse to do, because I'm like, I'm not coming to your house. You're not going to listen to me. F off. I will do online consults, and you have to pay a lot of money because I want to make sure you're going to do it. And it's got to be worth my time, because I felt so burnt out. If you're that burnt out, then you can blame the owner. You know, you're pissing me off, versus having the cups available, the spoons available to say to be the person that can help the person, versus you're pissing me off. That's an early indication.
And it is the help the person, even if they don't know it's you. You know, even if it's just a random thing that you just, even if they don't know it's you, it doesn't matter. It made their day. Or even just to see them smile because it's so out of the blue. That's all it needs. You know, you're not doing it because you have your phone there to take a selfie. I hate that. That to me is just defeats the point of doing an act of kindness.
And actually, if you've used a trainer, a behaviorist, a groomer, a walker, or whatever, and you're happy with what they've done for you, give them a review on Google.
Yeah.
Those few words. I mean, I love going through the reviews that my guys get. It's just absolutely fantastic. And of course, alternatively, if you don't like what they've done, message somebody and say, oh, I've got a little problem here. What do you think? Because there might just be a miscommunication as well. But if you have used somebody and they have given you good service, that 1 or 2 sentences on Google to say, what a great job, really impressed, thank you, goes such a long way to keep people going.
Yeah. It really does. I mean, it boosts their ratings, and it doesn't cost you a penny.
No,
that's the thing. It costs nothing. I kept ratings off my page because I was heavily bullied when Mighty Dog started. I'm coming into my 9th year in January with Mighty Dog, and for about the first 5, the bullying was relentless. Force-free trainers were great, but I still had the problem with credit and sharing from the correct page and editing the work, or just getting messed about on prices and things like that. I'm still here, so haven't done much in the last few years. Life took over, but I still do all the commissions. I'm still working privately, and hopefully I'm looking forward to the new year. I really want a new start in the new year, where I will actually be putting out more of my free posters. And I'm going to make sure the watermark is so bloody big, it's the first thing you see, so that people can't remove it. But yeah, it was, I mean, as a small company, I could have gone down very quickly. Except that I had friends online. I had friends that I could pick up the phone to, and I had people I could talk to.
Yep. And people who have your back. Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we do. We have each other's back. Finally as a group.
But don't forget, you never have to wait for New Year's to make a new start.
It's true.
True.
And I love the idea, if you're having a sucky Christmas, or you're sad, or you're depressed, or you're missing family members, say, I'm going to spend 2 hours on Christmas morning, if you can. If you're not taking care of the children.
Your morning or my morning, because clearly I can't count.
My morning, whatever, wherever you are.
It was seriously, I really thought it was going to be 10:30 your time. I forgot there was a 7-hour difference, not 5. So sorry about that.
It's a Christmas math problem. But I love the idea. I'm going to go online and give good reviews. Like that could be, and you may never hear from anyone. They may not even bother to say thank you, or they might not see it. I don't see my Google reviews, but that's a way to start the road to healing, is being the person who's being there. Like we said, even a smile, even just acknowledging the person who's bagging your groceries. It's seeing the other person and helping them be seen is how you're going to heal yourself. Yeah. I think that's a big secret that nobody told me.
Yeah, and do you ever notice when you're doing like a reviewer, you start smiling to yourself? When you're writing something nice, you smile. When you're writing something angry, you get angrier. So go do something nice. Go write something nice. Go to every page, every trainer, every groomer, as Mark says, go to everybody's page and give them a really nice review if you've used their services.
And if you can,
if they have it turned on, yeah.
If you can get a dog, if you can't, pop along to the local rescue centre, walk the dogs for them. Spend a bit of time reading to a dog, take them out for a walk, give them a little play, make their lives a bit happier too.
Yeah.
That's good. And if
definitely needed.
If you are desperate to get a dog for Christmas and it's not going to happen because it's so close to Christmas, give your local rescues a call. Get them to do a home check. Ask them to do a home check and put you on the list. So in January, when all those poor pups and dogs are being sent back because everybody suddenly realized what a bad idea it was to get a new puppy on Christmas Day and cook a meal for 30 people, all those puppies are there looking for homes.
Yeah.
And last year's Christmas presents are still sitting there looking for homes. So please, if you talk to the rescues now, if your kids are waiting on a dog, get a book on dog training. Highly recommend Annie, naturally.
There's puppy stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. There's adolescents, there's puppies, there's breeding, there's absolutely everything in there that you need to know. Yeah, just talk to the local rescue, say you're thinking about it, but you don't want to produce a dog before Christmas. Get the kid a stuffed toy and say, this is going to be your new dog come this time next year. You know, we're going to look and get the ball rolling now. Because there's so many dogs out there that need help, and will even more next year. So,
well, as usual, we've gone way over.
Oh, what's new? My goodness.
We are terrible at timekeeping. We really are.
Tell me about it. I mean, seriously, I got this out by 2 hours. So, yeah.
But I need to go because I need to feed the savage one down here. Wastes away. But it's been lovely, as always, talking to you, Annie. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun. And it's always interesting.
Well, thank you. I hope you both have wonderful Christmases. The best ones yet. The best is yet to come, as they say.
Keep tiptoeing. Enjoy your Christmas.
Enjoy Abe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. We will post all the links we've mentioned.
And we're frozen again.
That are relevant. We will be posting in the comments when this is up.
Yeah. Come join us at the Advocacy Center. Phenix Advocacy.
Of course.
Like Frosty the Snowman. All the links will
be Frosty the Snowman here. It's Christmas. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we're going to.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.